Welcome to Bart and Huib Speakers Corner, the podcast with noteworthy interviews and more. Here you'll discover what our speakers are bringing to Agile Testing Days and why they love this unique conference so much.
Hi, welcome to Bart and Huib Speaker Corner, where we interview the speakers of this year's ATD, which is in November, by the way. So if you want to be there, you better be quick. So today we have a very special guest, and the very special guest is James Lindsay.
Oh, this James, not this special guest. He's better at sitting still.
No, yeah,
Yes,
no, it's you, James. It's you.
I'm James. I'm terribly special.
Yes.
Thank you. That's kind of you. Yeah, I feel special by being interviewed.
So
Special.
maybe not everybody might know you, James. So could you quickly introduce yourself?
My name's James Lindsay. I masquerade as a test strategist. I'm kind of somebody who teaches testing by means of doing testing. I've got a particular interest in exploratory testing. Now, Bart, you and I have worked together for ages on things like test labs and other interactive moments. And Huib, you and I have worked, well, we've never worked together. But you and I have passed like massive thudding ships in the night in the world of exploratory testing and European test consultancy. And so, yeah, we've got a thing. We've got a thing to do on Monday tutorial day at ATD. And yes. Clearly, if you two are interviewing me about it, I better have all the answers, don't I?
Yep.
Yeah. So
we didn't prepare at all. So you have to do all the talking.
Yeah, you have to do all the answers. Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Yeah.
So
ask me a question then.
Right. Before we dive in too deep, James.
Yes, sir.
Test strategist. What's a test strategist?
So I think it's quite hard to make something meaningful about testing and to communicate that meaningful thing about testing. And one of the reasons for that is we're not terribly good at either understanding or expressing the values around testing. So that's one of the things we does as a strategist is you get to find out what really matters and help the organization communicate that to itself. So what that enables is strategy. Strategy is coherent action, but without necessarily coordination. So if everybody's got the same understanding of beliefs, of values, then that helps them all work together without too much referential back and forth and too many meetings. So yeah, strategy is about values. You express the values well enough, people act coherently, and that's something that I think I can help bring to testing. The strategy I tend to espouse is avoiding too much bullshit and still looking for trouble.
Nice.
Trouble seeker. Okay, interesting.
Nice.
Yeah,
Professional trouble seeker.
People ask me to go in and do a strategy to say, we're just going to check everything works. I'm going to go, that strategy is not going to help you unless your values are, you're not looking for trouble. And they go, yes, our values are not looking for trouble. And I go, you don't want me then. And so that becomes sort of self-fulfilling.
Nice.
And short.
Good.
Those engagements.
Talking about Agile Testing Days, what brings you to Agile Testing Days every year?
Oh, the crowd. The crowd.
Tell me about the crowd.
So because it's a residential conference, you are able to duck out at any time, but also able to duck in at any time. There's sort of a flow between small groups and big groups and massive parties and tiny chats. And these things just flow. It's strange because I've been to a few. I find that sometimes conversations that I was having a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I kind of fall back into those. I think that's really important as a community. Second thing is that it's eye-opening. It's always eye-opening, a good community, but Agile Testing Days is especially eye-opening because it's got quite a wide range of technical subjects. It's got quite a wide range of the reasons why people are interested in management. It's not just European. I really like Agile Testing Days. It's a great crowd, and pretty much all the conversations you have, and there are lots, are interesting. So I go to Agile Testing Days because of the crowd, because the crowd makes me think better.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. Good. So you're not just going to Agile Testing Days, James. You also have some stuff that you do as a speaker.
I'm playing. Yes.
Yes, you're playing.
Yeah.
So what are you playing this year?
A keynote. Now, you know, one doesn't do many keynotes at Agile Testing Days because they like to shake it up a bit. And at the last Agile Testing Days, I watched Elizabeth Zagroba do a very fine talk about exploratory testing where she did it live. And Bart, you and I had just had a workshop where we have been demonstrating how you can get software to be built out of tests without ever touching the code. Now, both Elizabeth and I are able to explore. We're also weirdly have a background in improvisation. So that sense of resourcefulness and being able to work with whatever's thrown at you, we both find important to testing. We also find important to our stage personas. So we thought, well, hang on, why don't we use the skills that Bart and I developed to build something that we've never seen before, but which passes lots of tests? And then we use the skills which each developed individually to explore that code. And why don't we use the skills that we both have and trust each other with to improvise that exploration on stage? So that's the keynote. We're going to do live testing of something we've never actually tested before. And she's going to have one and I'm going to have one, and they're going to be different, but they pass the same tests. And the audience is going to have some too. So everybody's going to be testing. They're all going to be testing the same thing that passes the same tests.
Okay.
We'll find out just how weird it is because it'll be built by an LLM. Therefore, it is weird. And we'll do that as part of a keynote. And you'll get to see Elizabeth and I as we test together and as we test potentially building on what each other has done. And we're trying to work out how to make that work best for us and for the audience to be entertaining and interesting and ultimately give people a really good feel for how they can bring their exploration into their work and show people what they're doing so that that can then be understood and can be used. I think we need to show our exploration off because that's how one of the reasons people get to understand how strange the thing is that they've built. So that's what we're doing, bringing lots of strange things, all very similar. And Elizabeth and I will be exploring on stage and inviting other people to do so too. But that's something we're going to have a conversation with about, presumably at another date with Elizabeth.
No. You did a pretty good introduction of that keynote, and I seriously want to see you and Elizabeth back in this podcast. So let's see if we can plan that. But
let's do that. Yeah.
If people are not convinced that they should see it, then I don't know how.
Well, I don't know, but it is going to be live, real testing. We won't have seen the thing before. We will be testing. We will be embarrassing ourselves mightily on stage. The point is not to be too embarrassed. This is an exploration. We expect things to go wrong.
Even then, and that's what I really like about Agile Testing Days myself. Even if you embarrass yourself on stage, the audience still wants you to succeed, right? It's a lovely audience. It's
the crowd at ATD is so supportive. I don't fear bringing this to the crowd.
No.
Partly because you and I have had a keynote where everything went spectacularly wrong, and I've never had so many laughs in a keynote. So I kind of know that this will be a possibility.
Is that the one where the beamer broke down and the code disappeared and we were that's the one.
The Wi-Fi went and nothing worked, and we still had the whole audience pressing buttons that did something to lights on stage and eventually blew up a unicorn, by which I mean inflated rather than exploded. Things worked, but yes, the code did indeed disappear mere hours before the tutorial, leaving me in the worst.
Before we look back too much, let's look ahead. So a keynote, testing transparently. I'm seriously looking forward. I love live testing and stuff. What else are you doing?
I'm doing a thing with Bart, and Bart, you and I are doing a thing called Quick Trick Automation. And that's where we're going to be showing off lots of little things that we have built, both in our practice and in other things, and how easily we were able to get to those. So it's a selection of little tools built with quick tricks. And I think what's interesting to me is this idea of ephemeral tooling. Tools that you make for a purpose and then you don't necessarily use them again. We've got an extraordinary new access to that, not just because we can clock together all sorts of things, but because we no longer have to look in the manual quite as hard to clock together so many things. We can say to an LLM, help me clock together grep and sort and a loop somewhere. I don't know how to make this work. And it'll give you a couple of plausibles and you can go with it. And then you can find out what works and then throw the tool away, because you don't need it. So nicely kind of customized, quick stuff, which maybe takes us to the third thing.
Wait, no,
Okay.
no, not yet. Because I, in my podcast, have the two speakers of quick trick automation, and we haven't heard the second speaker yet. So, Bart, what else can you say about the thing you do with James and yourself?
Well, it's kind of a standard pattern that I suggest something and get us into trouble, and then James has to do a lot of work to get us out of trouble. So
we call it learning over the year, don't we? Yeah. We're doing what? Bollocks.
What are we doing? Seriously? Yeah. So
yeah. So you're the manager, and James is the employee doing all the hard work.
Well, the funny thing is that over the years,
we're both adventurers. I get the machete.
Roles have switched once in a while. Once in a while, James gets us into trouble and I get us out of trouble. But most of the time, I'm the one that brings us into trouble.
I get us into trouble because I've got a spectacularly bad temper, and you're very good with people. It's different kind of trouble, you know.
Okay, cool. So the third thing you're trying to mention, what's that?
Yeah. Well, what's that? Sorry, did you say what's that?
Yeah, what's that? What's the third thing you're going to do at Agile Testing Days?
That's the tute that we've been working on together for this best part of the last 9-10 months or so. The art of crafting custom tools. It's been through a lot of title changes. That one's quite okay, and it's a cool tute. It's a full day, which is quite a lot because there's lots of little tools to build. So yeah, I think we start from a position of tools can get built. We don't just have to go with the tools that we get given and work from there, I think. So do you want me to say more, or can we turn to you two interviewers?
Wait, why? Oh, wait, because you haven't really mentioned that. So you're doing this tutorial with Bart and me.
Yeah, with both of you. Yeah. Yes. So and
it's going to be fun.
We did agree you were going to ask me the questions, but you do have to have some of the answers as well, because frankly.
So Bart, tell me more about the art of crafting your custom tools.
Well, it's not necessarily about test automation. It's about building those small tools that can help you do your testing. So it's matchers, it's having doing a comparison of big data, setting up test data, stuff like that, which is not necessarily testing itself, but it's helping you, it's assisting you in doing the testing. And what we're looking for is how to get those things up and running quickly, more quickly than you could have done the task yourself. If you could have done the task yourself quicker, then don't build the tool. But specifically, for instance, setting up test data, which is a nightmare normally, if you can find a tool which can do that for you and build it quite quickly and actually get the right responses from it, then that's worthwhile. That's a tool that you can use. And once you have used it, you probably throw it away because, well, you don't need the same test data anymore. Then again, once you've done that, you might reuse that tool for different patterns for test data later on. You never know.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've had a note on my screen throughout the making this tutorial is automate the tasks and not the tests. There are tools that will automate tests out there, and they're fine. That's not just what this is about. We may automate a few tests or a few parts of tests like matches, or a few setup bits, but the tasks are what's fascinating. Being able to say, all right, well, I've got a log. I really don't want to read through the log, but I've got something that can do this for me. I've got something that can be live looking at the log for me. I've got something that will have a look back at everything I've done on the command line in the last couple of hours, and it'll summarize that for me. Though these are useful things to have automated as testers, and we're going to ask people, I think, to bring their tasks with them.
Oh, yeah. So if you have something that you want to do as a small task, you can mail it to us on forehand, and we can take it into the tutorial. So it would be a personalized, customized tutorial specifically for you.
Yeah, and we're gonna use all kinds of different techniques, right? Spreadsheets, shell prompts, AI, maybe even tools that are already there, and then add something to it to make them extra special. Those kind of things, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, you've got there's a bit of resourcefulness to this. You've kind of got to know what the tools are that you've got access to, what they're liable to do, how to put them together, and then yeah, you go, hang on, command line and an LLM at the same time. I can do a thing there, and yeah, you pull stuff together. Interesting things can happen.
And we're looking for people not specifically with coding expert or technical experts. If anyone
can step in. It's in that sense, it's anything goes.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to involve typing. These aren't, it's not going to involve hammering. We've done one of those with we had power tools, Bart and I, in the Make Anything workshop. This isn't that. There is going to be typing, and there is going to be a command line, and we will be running some command line tools, maybe. Or we'll be opening up Excel and helping Excel to do those things. But there's a sense of what is possible, not necessarily here's this technique, here's this technology, but here are these possibilities, here are these opportunities. And I think that's a neat place to start from. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to work with all sorts of opportunities for all sorts of different people who come in.
Yeah. And possibly you can take home your own tools.
Yeah, well, that's the plan at the end, is if people bring in what they need, I hope that we can, over the day, use those as examples and help people to develop their own. And these little tools, maybe you'll go away with 2 or 3 small bits and pieces that just sort out little parts of your testing tasks.
Oh, sounds like fun. Sounds like I'm going to be there. Yeah.
Well, you better be. Yeah. Yeah. There's need someone to get the sandwiches. Oh, that's such a crap thing to say, isn't it? No, it's been rather nice actually working with 3. It's been cool,
yes,
and I'm looking forward to having that in the tutorial. It's been really cool.
Me too.
Okay.
Just to be honest to all the watchers currently, they were doing the thing, and I just wormed myself in and said, "This is the kind of tutorial I want to work on." So yeah. This is going to be so much fun. And it's going to be not only fun, it's going to be very worthwhile. Building your own tools, understanding tools,
Yeah.
It's cool.
Okay.
Especially if we have a lot of people that just can inspire each other and, well, cool.
So, James, to get back to the podcast, what was your most impressive / hilarious / memorable moment that you had at ATD?
Oh, Jesus. Well, there is only one big candidate for this, because I've done so many silly, lovely things at ATD, but the Build Anything Lab, which I referred to earlier, was a sort of, just in terms of the trust and permission given at the outset, and then what that turned into. I hope you'll remember it. Bart will certainly remember it, because we built it together. The idea was that we had a whole bunch of scrap and power tools, and people built whatever they wanted to build with one stipulation: it had to connect to something else. And in building it, of course, they had to test it and modify it and test it and modify it. So there was a lot of testing going on, a lot of little bits, can we deliver this? Can we make this? So it was agile testing. And because it needed to integrate with something else, that was fascinating in terms of what the testing actually meant. And then it integrated into a bigger and bigger and bigger and more ridiculous machine. It involved the internet. It involved robots. It involved nails and ball bearings and toy cars and all sorts of stuff. And when it worked, and it only worked once, when it worked, there is a video of it, and you can see, if you look at that video very carefully, and you can see Bart just gently nudging something that hasn't quite happened. And then it's wonderful.
It was a Rube Goldberg machine. Yeah. It was really hilarious. The final end-to-end test almost went well. But
for me, the process of watching these excellent testers build it, and constructing something that they haven't built before. It was original, but they're testers and they're iterative people because they're agile testing. It was just fascinating to watch that work and to watch people interacting with each other's creations and to watch people completely change out how something would work or move a piece to a different place. It was just so many opportunities taken, so many lovely things done. It was just a fascinating moment. And without wishing to put any other conference down, nowhere but Agile Testing Days would have trusted or insured an activity like that. So yeah, it was an amazing thing, and I'm forever grateful to ATD for doing that and for giving me the opportunity to be part of it.
And that's what I always say about ATD. They give people with crazy ideas the opportunity to actually try it and to experiment with these crazy ideas. And yeah, I'm very grateful that they always give me the chance to do that, of us.
I heard that they're going to do a keynote where people are going to do something live on stage, which they've never done before with two people. I'm not sure who would do that.
Something called Testing Transparently.
Yeah.
With Elizabeth Zagroba and James Lindsay.
You need to get this Elizabeth Zagroba on your podcast. She's much better than me at explaining these things. I think
Is it?
That,
Is she?
You should do that. Yeah.
Okay. No, you know what? Let's do that. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's plan that thing.
All right.
We will. Cool. Okay. Well, I think we're done for today. So thank you, James, for being our guest. Really wonderful talking to you.
Thanks for having me. Lovely to be in the Fritzy bar again.
Yeah. No, but by the way, the background that you see is the Fritzy bar, which actually is in Potsdam. It actually is where the ATD is. And this is where, for instance, the lean coffees in the morning are being done without the beers. But so yeah, this is actually the Fritzy bar. So this is part of Agile Testing Days where we are.
Bart and I have run the collaboration lab and several speaker preps in the Fritzy bar. They've had variety evenings. But yeah, it's typically every breakfast morning is lean coffee, which is just that's a lovely way to start the day.
Cool.
Okay. So please remember there's a special discount code if you watch this podcast, and you can get a 15% discount, 15 discount.
It's in the comments.
It's in the comments. And so there's no reason not to go there. Yeah, it's somewhere.
Yeah, it depends on which interface you're on. It's in the comments.
Remember, if you want to be in our tutorial, you have to sign up on forehand. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.